It's come to our attention that you believe we made some mistakes when last talking about transporter accidents in Star Trek. And you were right, that Jessica was weak and did not understand the necessity of conquest. So today, we will right her wrong. That was weird. Anyway, we're back at it, folks, talking about transporter nightmares. You may have been one of the many people who said, you forgot about this one. And we really didn't. We just didn't have enough time to talk about them all. So that's why we're back with part 2 today. So without wasting any more time, let's get to it.
Much ado about Boimler.
What is it with Bradward Boimler and transporters? Last video, we talked about him being duplicated like Riker was, but nothing was more annoying than an out-of-phase Boimler. When Rutherford tries to shave a fraction of a second off the transporter cycle times, the ever-eager Boimler volunteers as his test subject. The beam-up works fine, but the return leaves him just a moment out of phase, glowing, transparent, and constantly emitting the classic transporter sound.
What's that noise? Is that me?
Dr. T'Ana has no cure, so Division 14 is called in to whisk him away to the farm, where we get to see a couple more transporter accidents. What was that again about malfunctions being rare? Thankfully, Boimler's case is purely cosmetic, and what's more, Rutherford uses the same flawed tech to rescue every crew member of the Rubidoux. In the grand scheme of transporter accidents, this one is all bark and no bite. Nobody dies, nothing gets split in half, and Boimler is back to normal soon enough.
It wore off! I'm not a freak anymore!
Still, being a walking sound effect is enough to make you think twice before offering yourself as someone's efficiency guinea pig.
You're not making the sound anymore, which was the worst part, right?
Yeah, it's terrible.
We rank this as ensign level, just like Bradward.
The Next Phase.
At first, it looks like one of Starfleet's worst nightmares. Ro and Geordi vanish mid-transport while returning to the Enterprise. The crew assumes they've been killed in a transporter accident, but the truth is much stranger. They're actually out of phase, thanks to a Romulan molecular phase inverter that interfered with the beam. Cue ghost walking through walls, Data chasing phantom chronotons, and one of the most shocking saves in Trek when Geordi literally shoves a phased Romulan through the hull. In the end, the fix is a big Anion flood that brings them back just in time to crash their own memorial service. Lower Decks later nods to this classic with a quick line about feeling stuck out of phase like Geordi and Ro. We give this one a lieutenant ranking. Some of us just don't want to know what the other side is like until we're supposed to be there, okay?
Realm of Fear.
In the TNG episode Realm of Fear, we learned that the ever-anxious Reg Barclay is apparently deathly afraid of transporters.
I'm sorry, I just can't do this.
So much so that he's logged an impressive amount of shuttlecraft time just to avoid them entirely.
I'm going to beam over there. I can do it.
He challenges himself to face that fear in order to help locate the missing crew of the USS Yosemite. But during his return beam to the Enterprise, he bears witness to a horror show, a twisted worm-like creature with a mouth that touches him mid-transport. Ugh. Nothing appears wrong with the transporter on either ship, so Barclay convinces himself he must be suffering from transporter psychosis. Wait, that's another thing I have to worry about? You know, I'm starting to think Reg was onto something. Anyway, out of desperation, Barclay eventually orders O'Brien to run him through the transporter one more time, to either prove what he saw or confirm that he has lost his grip on reality. And there they are, worms. So, okay, basically what happened was a microbe infected the Yosemite crew, as well as Barclay. And when the Yosemite tried to get rid of the infection using the transporter, they were instead suspended inside the beam. Thanks to that same microbe, their pattern never degraded, which is good, I guess. This stroke of luck afforded Barclay the opportunity to see them, get driven crazy by them, and eventually save them. In the end, it's Barclay's fear and the courage to confront it that saves the crew, which is why we rank this accident as Lieutenant Commander. If he wasn't who he was, the Yosemite crew might still be in limbo.
Mirror, mirror.
Sometimes a transporter accident doesn't just scramble your atoms, it sends you into a whole new universe. An ion storm disrupts Kirk, Uhura, Scotty, and McCoy's beam-up, flinging them into the now infamous Mirror Universe. A brutal parallel reality where the Terran Empire rules with fear, and Spock rocks a goatee sharp enough to cut glass. The transporter accident itself is solved quickly enough, but its legacy is enormous. That one glitch opened the door to a twisted reflection of Starfleet that Trek has revisited time and time again, from Deep Space Nine to Enterprise to Discovery.
Long live the Empire.
Sure, nobody comes back glowing or fused, but the psychological toll of confronting your darker reflection is its own kind of horror. Given the ramifications to the Star Trek universe alone, this transporter accident gets a commander ranking. I don't know about you, but if this happened to me, I'd need some mandated shore leave.
Past tense.
Up to this point, we've seen many different types of transporter malfunctions, but what happens when it doesn't just send you into the wrong place or universe, but the wrong time? In the Deep Space Nine two-parter Past Tense, a chronoton surge interferes mid-transport, scattering Sisko, Bashir, and Dax through time, straight into San Francisco 2024. Instead of the bright, hopeful Federation future, they find themselves in a world of sanctuary districts, walled-off zones of poverty and neglect. Sisko is forced to take the place of a man named Gabriel Bell to preserve the timeline.
The name is Bell. Gabriel Bell.
All while being unsure if they'll ever make it back to the 24th century. This episode is remembered not just for its time travel twist, but for how eerily close its vision of 2024 feels to our current timeline. Perhaps the only heartening aspect of this bleak prophecy is that through this struggle, humanity eventually pulled through and created Starfleet. Maybe we can pull through many of the horrific acts we're seeing today and make a better future for all. I'm hopeful. We rank this transporter accident as Captain, because despite the existential dread part, it might be a beacon for those of us who still believe a Star Trek future is possible. Thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of Transporter Accidents. We'll see you next time. You didn't really think I'd forget about Tuvix, did you? You did! No. One does not simply forget about Tuvix. And of course, we're talking about the Star Trek Voyager episode, Tuvix, where an alien orchid causes the accidental fusion of the eccentric Neelix and logical Tuvok into one being, who calls himself Tuvix. There is no way to restore Tuvok and Neelix, and until a solution is found, Tuvix spends weeks aboard Voyager, living, laughing, loving. The loss of Neelix and Tuvok is palpable, but Tuvix is alive. So yes, getting meshed into one being is pretty scary, but the true nightmare happens when a way to restore Neelix and Tuvok is uncovered, and it will come at the cost of Tuvix's life.
I don't want to die.
Tuvix argues passionately for his right to live, but Captain Janeway ultimately makes the incredibly polarizing decision to reverse the process, restoring Tuvok and Neelix, and effectively killing Tuvix. This isn't just a transporter malfunction, it's a moral crisis. Do you honor the new being and let Tuvix live, or undo it and restore the crew you had? Is it even your choice to make? Either way, the transporter pad became the stage for one of Star Trek's most unforgettable ethical dilemmas. We rank Tuvix as Admiral. It's not just a malfunction, but a philosophical minefield that still sparks debate to this day. Before you ask, no, I will not be ranking Janeway's decision. That's a whole other episode. One to beam up.